Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, we're checking out this affordable all-in-one pedal board from the folks over at Vangoa. This is the Vangoa VPPD-S pedal board. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. I'll also compare this pedal board against my beloved and almost worn-out Pedaltrain Mini. Before we get started, a huge thank you to Vangoa for sending this out for the review. This will be a full pros and cons review, and I'll list each section of the video down in the timestamps below. If you want to check out this board, I'll also put some links down in the description so you can check it out in your part of the world. Here we go. First up, let's talk a little bit about how the Vangoa compares against my Pedaltrain Mini. Now, the Mini has been discontinued. You can't get this particular one anymore. The closest thing to the Vangoa on the market from Pedaltrain is the Nano, which comes in $30 cheaper than the Vangoa. So you might be saying, hey, why would I buy this over a Pedaltrain? The Vangoa isn't just your standard pedal board setup. It comes with far more than just a bag and a board, and I'll run you through all of that right now and what makes it unique. Let's talk about build quality, and then I'll cover why this is excellent value. We get what Vangoa calls aircraft grade aluminium. This is very light and sturdy. It's a solid board weighing only in at 1.3 kilograms or 2.8 pounds. Like most compact pedal boards, the Vangoa can hold up to 5 regular sized pedals. You might be able to get more in there if you use those mini pedals, for example. For optimum space, with standard pedals, the ones with the top mounted jacks are the way to go. If your pedals have side jacks, you want to use some of those pancake connectors, and I'll link to some of those down in the description below. One of the simple and effective features on this board is we get these little side legs, which helps angle the board diagonally towards you. And this is especially helpful if you're playing standing up. It's a really huge benefit over just having the board sit flat. This is a big benefit over my Pedaltrain, which always sits flat. There's no angle or anything on it, so I really like it. The quality of these legs are far better than some of their prior boards that I reviewed about 4 years or so ago. So they got this right. They can't push past a point. So once you lock them out like this, you're good to go. If you want to transport it, flick them back down and it keeps it flat. One of the reasons this is such great value, coming in at $30 more than the Pedaltrain Mini, is we get an isolated power supply built in. That's right, completely isolated. This means the risk of ground loop or hum from this power supply is reduced drastically. Underneath the board, mounted directly into it, is 8 9-volt DC 100 milliamp outputs. These can be used to power all of the 5 pedals. And being that we get 8 outputs, it means you can still use your wah pedal off to the side or an amp sim pedal or whatever the case may be. Now just know this doesn't have any 12 or 18 volt DC outputs, but 9 volts should be okay for most players getting into it. In addition to the built-in power supply, we get 8 right angle power connectors. These right angle power connectors are great as they make the whole connection process far easier and far more functional than the ones that go out straight. They usually take up a whole lot of room, especially if the straight connector has to go into the side of one of your pedals. That's where these are far better. To power the power supply, you need another power supply, and thankfully it's included. This is an 18 volt 1 amp power supply loaded with the US wall socket adapter. If you're like me and you live outside of the US or Canada, you'll need one of these. This basically converts the pins to your local area, and I've had no problems using this here at the house. The great thing about this particular power supply is it will work anywhere from 110 to 240 volts, so there's no risk of frying it if you use the appropriate adapter. When I asked Vangoa about their power supplies and whether or not they'd be more localized in different areas of the world, they said as of shooting this video right now, the US power socket is the only one that will come with the board. Let's go ahead and turn this on and I'll show you what makes it unique. We get this good quality power switch on the front, and now we get this LED bar that's now responding to my voice as I talk. If I stop talking, the lights go off. So that's pretty cool, which means if you're in a gig situation, for example, it will flash in conjunction with the band. It's something different, it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's kind of cool. On the front here, we have our input and output. Now, if we use this signal chain, it will actually respond to your picking dynamics. So we plug our guitar into the input, then we can go out of this back into our signal chain as per normal. And what will happen is if we play soft or turn down, the LED bar will respond very differently. It will go into the green territory. If we really start digging in, or if we're using maximum volume, you'll see the LED light up red. So you can run this one of 2 ways. Now, if you don't want this on, you can simply run a patch cable straight into here, just into the input, without it going anywhere else, and it will disable the LED bar. But it's kind of cool, something different. Again, it's not really anything practical, but I kind of like the look of it, especially if you're in a situation like a studio like this where you're producing videos. It just kind of adds a little bit of mojo. But yeah, let us know what you think of that in the comments. Underneath the board here, we also have a volume control. So if you're running your signal through the board and the LED is too hot, for example, you can turn this down and it will change how responsive the LED bar is. This is just for the input socket only, not anything to do with the microphone. If I turn it while I'm talking right now, nothing changes, as that's a separate circuit. So yeah, very interesting design. I gotta tell you though, the quality of the switch over here on the power and the volume control all feel very sturdy. So in terms of build quality, this is built extremely well. Let's cover the gig bag and everything you need to know. So in terms of its overall quality, I would give this a 7 out of 10. The only thing that kind of lets it down is the zip quality. They're not bad though, and this is one of the biggest advantages I've seen with this bag over a lot of others, is the zips are decent. They're not on the same sort of par as Rockboard or Pedaltrain, but they're not far off. In terms of the overall bag, this is a much better bag than my Rockboard or Pedaltrain. So keep that in mind, there's a trade-off there. You get raincoat material, it's completely padded internally. We get this nice pocket where you can throw cables or other accessories, and the bottom of the board is also padded. We get these little rubber feet, so if you plop it down on the ground, you're not going to damage the actual bag. We get a carry handle on the top that's comfortable and very secured, and on the back, we get one of these, which allows you to wrap it around your favorite gig bag, and this makes it easy if you run out of hands. You can just use, you know, your gig bag on your shoulder and you'll be in business. Vangoa also have included lots of Velcro, and from what I can tell so far, the Velcro is every bit as good as the stuff that's provided by Pedaltrain or Rockboard. Being that I've had both of those brands, this is easily just as good, and I like the fact they haven't decided to stick one side already to the board, so you can set it up however you like. All right, let's wrap this video up. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the Vangoa VPPD-S pedalboard. Yes, I said it wrong so many times before this take. I think the biggest oversight might have been this LED bar. Not only would I have loved to have seen a dedicated off switch for it, but I would have much preferred that to be a built-in tuner, saving you the need for a dedicated tuner on your board. That would have been fantastic, so maybe they can do that on a future board. But overall, I actually don't mind the LED light. It is a bit of a gimmick, but it's something that's kind of fun and interesting, and you can really monitor how hard you're picking in a visual way, or set it up in microphone mode if you're not interested in running your signal through it. Then it can flash to the band. Whatever the case may be, that's pretty cool. When it comes to the gig bag, I like everything about it except that there's no front pocket. I think a front pocket really would have helped just give us a little bit more space if we want to carry something like a wah, because as it stands, I'm not sure I can fit my entire pedal board setup in here and the wah pedal, which means I need a separate bag. And that's also the case with the Rockboard bag that I have, and it's the reason why I don't use it, because I need another bag to carry my wah. So just a small oversight there, but if you're not a wah pedal player, whatever the case may be, this gig bag is fantastic. This last critique is just one of my personal gripes. Look how short the cable is from the power socket to the board. It's 1 meter, give or take, right? Which is 3 feet. It needs to be twice or 3 times as long as that. I played out last night as of shooting this, and it's one of those things like this wouldn't be long enough to reach the wall to the board, especially where we play. So you need an extension cable. It's just another thing to get. So just keep that in mind. If you're in close proximity to the power outlet, you won't have a problem. But if you're not, you know, is this long enough? You can let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, folks. My name's Shane. If you want to check this out, I'll link it down below. This is easily one of the best accessories of 2022. And when I do my end of year wrap up, odds are you'll see this in there. While it's not perfect in terms of its design, it has lots of benefits over far more expensive pedal boards. If you're just getting started and you want an all-in-one, this makes a whole lot of sense. Thanks again for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.